Big Blue Thumb Productions presents the Podlie Podcast. Here's your hosts, Podlie Bill, Podlie Cliff, and Podlie Paul.
And hello, everybody. It's Epi 113 of the Podlie Podcast. Epi 113, and wow, good evening, William Seltzer. 3,500 points. Jimmy Hill, you're home tonight. Hello there.
Jimmy, who's home?
Well, Jimmy is.
No, whose home is he at?
Oh, that's a good question.
Mm-hmm.
Jeremy. Oh, we lost your audio there, Cliff.
Hey, Bill.
Yes?
Can you tell if my hair's thinning?
It does look like it's thinning.
What? You're supposed to say no, dude.
Oh, sorry. Well, you asked me to tell you the truth. We still don't have your audio there, Mr. Cliff. Good evening, Jeremy Bernard Schultz. Well. 4 wells and a hello.
Jeremy, what does 113 mean, dude? And does it mean 113 wells or what?
That's 113 episodes.
Oh, is it 113 episodes? Is that us? Is that me? Should I know that?
We're 113.
Holy cow.
Are you back with us, Cliff?
Coming.
Yep, you're there.
There you go.
The sticks are clacking.
The clack, clackety, clack. Nicole, hello. Jimmy, hello.
Hello.
Jeremy, hello.
Hello.
William James Kirkland, the man with the best handle. How are you, buddy?
Hello.
Yep.
Hello.
Hello.
All jumping in here tonight. So, guys, besides the fact that your hair is thinning, Paul, how was your week?
Well, it was good.
You asked me, so I told you the truth.
Hey, so everybody, we went drinking on Friday night, the three of us. Boys, I got to tell you, I had a lot of fun on Friday night with you two. First of all, a couple of things that I noticed as we were out gallivanting on Friday night. Gallivanting, yep, we had 2 beer. Gallivanting is what it was.
Right.
Gallivanting. A couple of things. First of all, it was a delight to see you boys in the flesh, which has been a very long time. Actually, you know what? The last time I saw you guys in the flesh was our 100th episode.
Yeah.
Wow.
That was the last time. Another thing.
12 weeks ago.
That was 12 weeks ago. That was 12 weeks ago. And
I just want to say that Jeremy's correct. So just continue, Paul.
no, why Jeremy's correct about what? 113?
He says he's going to lip read. So.
Oh, okay.
Oh,
Cool.
there you go.
And you know what I also noticed?
What's that?
Y'all are really short.
Hey, I thought he was going to say y'all are really handsome.
Well,
That's
y'all
what
are really handsome, but y'all are really short and handsome.
There we go, eh?
Yeah.
Well, listen, man. I always tell people, right? Short, dark, and handsome. I mean, 2 out of 3 ain't bad, right?
Ain't bad. That's right. I'm short, and apparently, according to Bill, I got like thinning hair, so I'm really screwed now.
Apparently, yes.
Yeah.
Apparently, it causes one to do the hully gully.
Yeah.
So Jeremy said, "Let me lip read for Cliff." He says, and then he says, "I said, hi everyone. Jeremy is the best ever." And I mean, that's exactly what I said, Jeremy. I'm talking word for word, syllable for syllable. That's precisely what I said.
Oh, I thought you said.
Moving your lips.
He's a remarkable lip reader. Let me tell you.
Bro.
I thought Cliff said hi. The Podlies are amazing. That's what I thought he said. Guess I read that wrong.
Okay, hold on. This is like the news. It's interpretable.
Yeah. Go to a different source and see what they say about the Podlies.
That's right. This is like the news. It doesn't matter what you think. It's all correct. Booyah.
Yeah,
Pot,
there you
meat, kettle. Kettle, meat, pot.
Yeah, so Friday night was fun, dudes.
Hi, Nicole.
It was good. It was a very nice acoustic set that we were listening to. We were listening to Mandy Reeder, which she was very good. It was nice, eh? On Friday night.
It was good.
It was good.
It was good. Yeah,
It was good.
couple of beer.
A
It
couple
was
of
good. It was good. So,
Yes.
what's new with everybody this week? What's happening? What's going on?
What's new with you other than the receding hairline?
I gotta
What's
be.
new with
Would
you?
It's not.
That's
really
not new.
receding. Is
That's
it really?
not new.
It's not receding. I was joking. I was seriously joking around. Is it really receding?
I think your forehead's just getting bigger, Paul. You're getting smarter as you age.
There you go.
Oh,
That's what I meant to say. Yeah, your forehead's
right.
getting bigger.
Oh,
That's right.
Cliffy.
You know, Paulie, when I started
you had me at
losing-
episode 1, Cliffy.
when I started losing this, people used to try and tease me. I used to tell them my favorite line that I got from a pastor, a New York pastor years ago, and I used to listen to radio. And he said that, listen, all you people out there, we were born with X number of hormones. And if you wish you to use yours to grow hair, that's your business.
That's right.
Now,
Agree.
Nicole says, "Oh, you guys are always picking on Polly." Nicole,
Really?
were you watching the podcast that I wasn't here? So there were some remarks made about me when I wasn't even here.
Okay.
I think Nicole just has a soft spot for Polly, so she sees it that way. And she doesn't like us. And she doesn't like us as much, Billy. So
No, probably not.
So I think that's why she thinks that way of Polly's, that we're always picking on him.
Yeah.
I suspect that's the case.
Well, of course I am. I'm the tall one.
There you go.
Nicole says, yes, she's seen that one. So how was your past week there, Cliff? Obviously, we saw you on Friday night, but
wasn't bad. Busy. Did some work from home. Yada yada yada. But pretty much. Yeah, nothing new to report. Status quo, as Polly would say.
Yeah, I did some work from home as well, and that was my week.
Well, cool. Then, boy, we're a bunch. Let me tell you.
We are
excited.
We're a bunch of sad sacks on Monday. Holy cow!
No kidding. My wife said, "Don't worry, Cliff. If you drink too much, make sure you call me." And blah blah blah. And then she texted me close to the time that I happened to have left, and she says, "You sure you don't mean to pick you up?" I'm like, "I went out with Bill and Paul. What do you think happened?"
So, I'm sitting here on Friday night. I'm sitting there on Friday night, and I'm thinking, shoot, I'm going to be tired, exhausted long before I ever get drunk.
Just 2 beer. I mean, that's you could tell. It's one of those. You're getting old when.
Yeah.
A Friday night outing is 2 beer.
Yeah,
and it was 2 happy hour beers.
And it was 2 happy hour beers. That's right. Were you happy though for the whole hour?
All of $5.
It's good beer
per beer.
That's right.
It was good beer
per beer.
Yeah.
So exactly. So
it was a busy place, though. I have to admit.
Have you ever been there? Like, do you frequent that?
I have.
Not do you frequent that place? You've been there before.
Yes, I have.
Okay.
Yeah. But it was a busy evening. So, but anyway, so tonight I thought, episode 113. So I thought I'd throw this out there. Are you guys, superstitious? Do you have issues? Like some people don't like Friday the 13th, right? Or, they only will do things a certain way. Like my wife doesn't like odd numbers. She only likes even numbers. Things like that.
She is, Nicole. Just saying. Very superstitious.
What?
Writing on the wall.
What? Superstitious? What?
Yeah.
Nope, not me.
Yeah.
Not me.
So hold the phone. If Cheryl only likes even numbers, right?
Yeah.
So I mean, when you ask her about odds and ends, she only likes the ends.
That's right. No odds.
So Paulie,
and is it the front end or the back end?
Exactly. So Paulie, if you had 25 odds and ends on the table, right, and took away all the odds, what do you think you'd have left? An end and a table. Never mind.
I don't
know. Very superstitious. There we go.
Yep,
Third marriage, 3rd time's the charm, or 3 strikes you're out. Hey, you know what, Jamie? The jury's probably out there, my friend.
Well, because y'all are still on your first. What am I saying? Still on your first. Y'all are on your first, and will obviously only have one. I'm a long way from my 3rd heavens. I hope that doesn't happen.
I had a friend of mine.
Near a second yet.
I had a friend of mine. Her name is Deanna. If she was my friend, she'd be listening to this show. But anyway, her name is Deanna. She lives in Victoria, BC. Well, actually, Ladysmith. And when she was married, she used to introduce her husband as her first husband, and he used to introduce her as his first wife. That's kind of awesome. But they did get divorced, so I don't know if that
I was going to say, and they're not together anymore.
And so Jamie Hill says, Nicole says, I love that. No, hang on. Go back. Up. She said, I love this. What other songs have superstitions in them? And William says he's not very superstitious. So not like what's his name then?
Look at
Very
Jeremy.
superstitious.
That would be Stevie.
Jeremy.
Stevie
Jeremy, he said,
Wonder.
I've been happily married for 5 years, 2007, 2009, 2010, 2015, 2020.
Jeremy, that's so funny. I was thinking about the same thing, right? I saw that some time ago. It's like, yeah, I've been married for 5 years, and I'm like, wait a minute, you've been married for 14. Yeah, but I was happy this year.
Math don't work.
I love it.
So, but like, do you guys have any, like, does Friday the 13th bother you? Do you care?
I don't give a damn.
See? Do you put your right shoe on first and your left shoe on second? And you have to do
whoa. But hold on a moment, though, because I could say and joke about not being superstitious, but I don't know what you call it if you do something a certain way, and when you do it the other way, you feel out of sorts. So you go, no, I better do it this way. I mean, that's kind of superstitious.
That's
right?
habitual. No, that's habitual. That's not.
Well, it's kind of superstitious as well. Like you watch some pro athletes. You talk to some pro hockey players,
right?
And they always have to put
athletes are superstitious
exactly the same way. So the same skate on the same foot.
Yeah.
You know, that's how they start, and they never change. If they change it, it throws them right off, right?
Yeah.
Hi, Marvin.
They have their lunches at the same time, and yeah. So eat the same meals for game day versus practice day and stuff.
Okay. You guys know me. I like to always ask the question, right? So I have a different theory now. Is that superstition? Do you call that superstition? If an athlete, suppose he wins, just bear with me for a moment. So an athlete, he scores, let's say 2 goals every game for like 4 games. And then the 5th time he goes to the rink, he does everything a certain way. Do you think that's superstition? Do you classify that as superstition?
I'm sure they would.
Why? What makes you so sure?
I'm sure. Well, I'm sure they would because they're doing it.
No, but how would you think they would classify it? I'm not sure how you would know how they would classify it.
So, I'm sure they do it. Go ahead, Bill.
I was just saying, I've heard some players interviewed when they've talked about it, and they say that is their superstition. They have to get dressed the same way every game, and then they don't change. Like everything has to be laid out a certain way, and otherwise, if they don't, then they're out of sorts.
Yeah, but my question is that actually a superstition? Is my question.
Well, I don't know if it's the true meaning of a superstition. I guess we'd have to look up exactly what is an actual true meaning of.
No. I don't even mean that so much, Bill. I don't even mean like the definition of superstition.
I think, Cliff. I think they are doing it as a form to not bring in a bad omen to their next game or their next whatever. Ergo, I do think it's superstition.
Okay, well, I would posit a different. Hypothesis. Yeah. And Les then says MASH episode that called out people's superstitions when they were dissing a spirit post. If you haven't seen that episode, it's freaking awesome. If you're a MASH fan, and if you're not a MASH fan, please unfriend me on Facebook.
I have the whole every season. I have every season.
Yeah, us too. That episode where they're calling out the people's superstitions, and it's about a spirit post, and the Korean lady comes and dances the spirits away. Oh, it's so good, man. Yeah.
Okay. So in terms of athletes, I think absolutely they are doing it as a superstition because they do feel as though it is going to, it's going to veer Lady Luck on their side. So I do think that is a form of superstition.
Right. Nicole says she feels superstitions are holding your breath going over a bridge, not having a black cat cross your path, not walking under a ladder, throwing a spilt of salt over your left shoulder to keep bad spirits away. Yeah,
and Lesanne says, I think superstition gets a bad rap. Much of doing things the same way. It's pragmatic to ensure they don't forget anything. So, Lesanne, I'm a little bit on your side there. I'm like I said, I would posit a different hypothesis. I'm not sure if anyone wants to hear it, but moving what a person does, how a person does it, a particular pattern that they use to get ready, etc., etc., etc. I know a lot of people chalk that up to superstition, and even the athletes do, and possibly even the coaches do. But honestly, I don't necessarily think it's superstition. I think it's more to do with anchoring. Like if you look at neurolinguistic programming, and that's the linguistic part, but neuroprogramming. There's a very interesting thing called anchoring, and you guys can go and look it up. I don't want to bore anybody who's not interested, but the fact of the matter is, you can anchor yourself into a particular mode of being, a particular person can come out. I'll give you a very quick example. I've given you this example before, I think, not that anybody cares. But when I used to work at the Brick, I used to work downtown. I used to live, way over here, and it used to be sometimes an hour commute in deep winter. And when I became general sales manager there, I promised myself that I'm never ever going to let a bad attitude from me or a bad day from me translate onto my staff, because my staff are on commission. There's no way I'm going to put any undue framework around their day to have them in any way not built up, not taken down, but certainly built up all the time, right? And so I made myself a promise that when I walk into those doors, I'm the happy-go-lucky, cheerful Cliff that they know. And then I can bring that energy to work and help lift the whole building, so to speak. And I used to go to work. I could have the worst day, man. I could be in traffic, and I could be road ragey, and I could do all those things. But I tell you what, the moment I took both hands and pushed it on those two doors and swung it open like this, that was my anchor. That all of a sudden, everything that happened in the last, God knows however long since I've been in this building, disappeared. And I'm here, the cheerful Cliff that builds everybody up and makes sure everybody's happy and ready to meet the customer and all that type of jazz. Now, was that a superstitious thing to do? No, it was an anchoring thing. Right? It anchored the emotion, and it anchored, so the action anchors the emotion, and then the emotion becomes an upward spiral in this case. All right. So if an athlete does his lace up a certain way, it might not be superstition so much, even though he might consider it that, right? But what it is putting yourself in a certain state. It's anchoring yourself to the state, right? So you were in this state the last time you won, and you want to keep that state again. So you will do things that will put your body and put your mind and put your physical self in that state. It's called anchoring. It's a very old principle, and it's a fascinating principle.
Right. And it's the same thing. Sorry, Paul, I was going to say it's the same thing that you do as whether you're in broadcasting or a performer or whatever that case might be. Right. So if you've had the worst day, but you have to do a performance that night, obviously you need to walk into that performance venue and be ready to go and perform for that audience, whomever it may be, no matter how bad your day was. That's all gone, and it's performance time.
When I'm on stage, before I'm on stage, and Bill has even seen this when we did the Fringe together, I always walk the stage, right? And some people think I walk the stage, or it's been mentioned in the past that I walk the stage to make sure I don't fall off the stage, so I know where the ends are.
I think everybody does that, I think. Yeah.
But not me. For me, it's claiming that moment. Okay, sorry, this is philosophical, but I'll tell you this. In any moment, in any given moment, see, I'm sitting here right now, right? Now, in this moment, this is my space. Now, it might not be my space in the future, and it might not have been my space in the past, right? But at this moment, while I'm sitting here, this space belongs to me. And it's the same thing with the stage. So when I'm on the stage, I go walk the stage because I make it mine. In that moment in time and space, that stage belongs to me. And so I anchor myself to that so that I can be comfortable and be who I need to be for that hour and a half or whatever it is that I'm on stage, right?
Right.
So these things are anchoring. They're not superstition in my mind. They're anchoring. So I think everybody has a different definition, but I honestly think that people confuse anchoring, especially with athletes and performers. I think they confuse anchoring with superstition. Is that a fair statement?
I think
that's a fair statement.
No, because I think it's two totally different things, Cliff. You're talking about two totally different things. Anchoring is within you. Anchoring is within you. You walk the stage, and you are within your own mind, and this, that, and the other thing, and it is within your power. Okay, that's what you're talking about. You throw the doors open, and it is within my power to make everybody else happy because I can do it. I might have a crappy morning. I might get somebody flipping the bird because but it is within me to have a wonderful day, and I'm going to throw that out into the world, and everybody else is going to have a different day. Superstition, on the other hand, is saying, hey, let me throw some salt over my left shoulder and let's let the world do whatever it may with me.
How is that superstition? I don't understand the correlation between let the world what it does by me.
Now I'm giving now it's not within me. My hands are up.
But isn't it what you
throw it out into the world? It's the world that because I've done this superstition, it must come to me. The world must grant me good luck and a good day and stuff like that. It's no longer within me.
But isn't it what you just said, Paul? Exactly. I think what Cliff was saying. You just defined the difference between the two. So anchoring is basically what
that's what I'm saying. They're different.
No, but I said they're not the same thing. That's precisely what I'm saying.
That's what Cliff was saying.
I'm saying it's defined differently. People define it differently.
Well, they define it differently because it is different.
No, but throwing salt over your shoulder.
They're not using two definitions to the same thing. It's two totally different things.
It's not, but Paulie, it's not throwing stuff over your shoulder as opposed to tying your skates a certain way. Mm-hmm. You call that superstition. It's not. What I'm saying is throwing salt over your shoulder could very well be superstition, but but tying up your skates a certain way every time in order to put yourself in a certain state, a mental and physical state, I don't think that's superstition. I think that's anchoring.
I would say the skate thing is absolutely anchoring. Absolutely.
And you and I agree.
Right. So that's what I'm saying. I think, Paul, what you just said is exactly what Cliff was saying between the two.
What about picking the same numbers on the lotto? what about picking the same numbers on the lotto every single time?
That's mathematical, Paul.
It's not. Maybe it's mathematical.
No, it's completely mathematical. If you think about it, if you actually no. If you wait a minute though,
do people think of it as this is?
I don't care what they think about it. I don't care what they think about it. This is precisely what I'm saying. I'm not talking about superstition being what somebody thinks it is. We're discussing, is it superstition, right? So picking the same lottery numbers and playing that for however many years, that's actually mathematical because you have a greater mathematical chance of that coming up versus a random number every single time, right?
I agree.
So that's not superstition. So now,
my question is, how many people actually do that, Cliff? How many people actually say, "Well, this is very mathematical. If I do this the whole time," they don't do that. They say, "Well, they play they play all of the same numbers because it's my birthday, because it's my anniversary day." There's no math involved.
Okay, so Paulie, what you're saying is that because they think it's superstition, it's superstition. I'm saying how you define it is irrelevant. What are the actual deal? What's the actual?
Yeah, and I was just going to say, so again, my wife Cheryl, she plays the lottery and she's played the same numbers for years and years and years. And yes, each number maybe has a certain meaning, but she also looks at it that it gives a higher percentage for a chance to win based on playing those same numbers. So it's not really superstition. It's based on my percentage is higher if I do this. Whereas Cliff said, I just pick random numbers every week. Well, my percentage now has gone down, way down, right?
Correct.
And I don't think a lot of people do that. I don't think a lot of people think of lotto as mathematical.
Okay, but Paulie, you're stuck on what people think. But I'm saying it's irrelevant what people think, right? Athletes say it's superstitious to do these things, blah, blah, blah. But I'm saying it's irrelevant what people think by sort of general, not definition. I'm not talking about definition, but I'm talking about by general process. Is it really superstition or is it anchoring? I think people confuse superstition for anchoring and vice versa very often.
So I've now thrown salt over my shoulder. I'm now anchored.
No, Paul. Have you not been listening at all, dude?
That's superstition that you've just done.
I think what I've done is I've done this. So now I've done all I can. I'm letting everything out into the world now because people have said that this is going to work. This is going to work, and the world is going to come to me now. That's what I think superstition.
Yeah, but you're not anchoring yourself at that point.
That's exactly right.
Right. So you're right back to what Cliff has been saying. So what you've just done, throwing the salt over your shoulder, that is a superstition to you. That's not an anchoring moment. An anchoring moment, like Cliff has explained it, that we've already said, is just that moment. I've had a horrible day, but I got to get to the stage. When I'm at that stage, doors will open. I'm going to put on the best performance I can, and that's how I anchor myself. Like you walk around the stage, I had my time is to spend time by myself before I go on stage. I got to have at least 5 minutes just to myself, nobody around, and then I go on stage, and I'm ready to go. It's not superstition; it's just my way of.
It's your way of
clearing my head and making sure I'm ready to go out and do what I got to do.
Right. And if you had a good performance last time, Bill, and you took that 5 minutes and you never talked to anybody, let's say the first time, I'm not talking about now it's an experience for you, right? But at the beginning, when actually I'll bring it back to me because I know why I did it. The reason why I walked the stage now is because the first few times I went on stage, I was so struck by stage fright that I couldn't freaking move. All right. So then I walked the stage to help me. And now the first time around I did that, I felt better, blah, blah, blah. Now it became an anchoring moment as opposed to a superstition. So it's the same with you. Let's say the first time you took that 5 minutes and to yourself, and then you got on stage and you felt great and you felt powerful and all these wonderful things, and you remembered your lines and you were in your character and all type of jazz. Well, the next time you go on stage, and even for the same show, it's kind of automatic because that worked last time. So now you're going to do it again. Right. And then it becomes this habit, and then all of a sudden that becomes the anchor to bring the best out of you at that moment.
Yep. It's habitual. Yep.
So Leslie Ann says MASH episode, and then she says she thinks superstition gets a bad rap. Much of doing things the same way is pragmatic to ensure. Perfect, Leslie Ann, I agree. And Nicole says, I feel superstitions are holding our breath over a bridge, not having a black cat cross your path, not walking under a ladder, etc., or throwing salt over your left shoulder to keep bad spirits away. There are also wives' tales about certain cutlery dropping on the floor, fork, knife, spoon, different meanings. One is a visitor, one is a letter, and one can remember the past. That's the lost. And then Leslie says, consider the scavenger hunt to get out of the house the next day after a scatterbrain day. Yeah, no kidding. I've been there 1,000 times. Leslie Ann knows it. And then Nicole goes on to say, Cliff, that's a sharing. I can't read that. Positive mindset. Something as a leader does. Oh, thanks. It's not inspiring others. It's motivating them to make their commissions. Exactly. Yeah. I mean, really, it's just putting them in the best state possible for them to succeed in the day. Because if I didn't do that, then I'm actually taking away from them. It's not that I'm being grumpy in a vacuum. I have to deal with them, and I will pass on whatever grumpiness I have to them. So it's my responsibility to make sure that I give them the best opportunity for the day. Lesson says neurolinguistic programming. Exactly. And it's neurolinguistic programming gets a little bit of a bad rap because people think it's about language. It's not necessarily about language. It's about physicality. It's about physiology. And it's quite an interesting area of study, to be honest with you, if you guys have not looked into it much. And Nicole says superstition is also like the hockey players in the playoffs. Yeah, not shaving, etc. See, that's a superstition. I play some numbers and have many years. There we go. And Jeremy says reality is you are as likely to have the same numbers drawn 2 weeks in a row as you are to have any other set of numbers drawn. That's nothing saying the numbers have to come up eventually. The probability is equal. Oh, maybe, Jeremy. I don't know. I haven't done the math to it, but that's what I've read in the past anyway. Repetition brings familiarity. Absolutely.
Yeah. And Leslie Ann. Well, that's all just good sense, Nicole.
There we go. We're caught up. Podlie, I think we agree on many ways, my friend. I just think that people define certain things that are actually anchoring. They define it as superstition. I mean, I don't know, throwing salt over the shoulder to get rid of evil spirits. Well, if evil spirits are plaguing you and the salt over the shoulder makes them go away, in your opinion, then yeah, that is a superstition, right? Walking under a ladder, black cat. Those are all superstitions.
It's all superstition.
Yeah. But in my mind, often athletes doing things the way they do it, or Bill, as you say, you got your 5 minutes and you don't talk to anybody before you go on stage, etc. That's not superstition. I think that's anchoring. I think we just define it as superstition.
Yeah. Marvin says, "How come I have Stevie Wonder running around in my mind?"
Very superstitious.
Don't worry, Marvin. It's been running through my head so far.
Writing on the wall. Ooh, yeah.
Speaking of that, Cliff, look what time it is.
Oh my goodness, look at that. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the middle of the podcast. Had I done this 1 minute later, it would be very bad because superstition would tell me that. Never mind.
The middle of the podcast in 1 minute.
Now I'm only babbling.
Would have thrown us off for the whole night.
That's just playing cards. I would get up and run. I've seen her do this. Playing cards, I would get up and run around my chair when the cards were not coming my way.
Does that work? Leanne, did it work? Right, Bill? Did it work?
That's the question.
Because if it works, keep doing it.
And see, what Jeremy says makes perfect sense, right? So let's be honest. There is no definitive proof that throwing salt over your shoulder does not ward off spirits. I agree, Jeremy.
Yeah, but if I was standing behind Paul and he did that and it hit me in the face, I'd be running. So he's got rid of me.
You'd be one mean-spirited guy, I'll tell you that.
And Lesley has a definitive no to the previous question whether running around the chair works for better cards.
And Cliff, yes, your homework is the next time that you play cards, he's gonna do it again, even though it doesn't work.
Even though it doesn't.
You have to come and report to us, please, and thank you very much.
Deal. Not that I remember the last time I played cards, but yes, we'll do
that. Yeah, I haven't played cards forever. Not that I'm a card player. I'm actually not I've never been a big card player. I've not been a poker player or any of that kind of stuff. So,
yeah, me neither. I always thought I was going to be a poker player, but you know what? Never mind. I'd lose my shirt, man. People can see right through me. Yeah, no, they can see
right through me. That hand in. I got a winner here.
Yeah, I know, right?
Not a fan.
Yeah, no, I've not really played many card games in my whole life. And as a matter of fact, there's one card game that we used to play a lot in the family with Lesley's family and stuff was called Kaiser. And it's funny because people used to laugh at me because every time I'd go to play it, which would be generally, 2 years down the road or whatever, they'd have to reteach me. That's because I have never played it since then, right? So
I'm a creature of habit. If I need to learn something, I got to do it over and over and over and over and over again. Ergo playing cards. Yeah.
It's Jeremy. Similarly, I've never been shot by a sniper. I will randomly jerk my head sideways, and so far, 100% success.
100% success. That's right. Yeah. Correlation versus causality. We like it. That's a great topic.
So here's my question. My question is a two-part question. First of all, would you agree or disagree that 300 years ago people were a lot more superstitious?
Well, having not lived in that time, I'm really not sure. But if you go back and read about it, there were certain religions in place, and certain things that they did by watching the universe, whether it be moon, stars, or whatever the case might be. Whether or not they were more superstitious than we are now.
Would it be fair to say that 200-300 years ago, people were more superstitious than we are now?
I don't think we can say that, at least in my mind, I don't think we can say that they were. I think maybe then anchoring was also a thing. Maybe they described it or defined it in a different way, but I can't say that they were more superstitious than what we are now.
I'm with you, Bill. And the fact of the matter is, people, again, chalk up things to superstition, but were actually very valid at the time, right?
Right.
I can't think of anything off the cuff right now, but don't go out at night. Don't go, there are demons in the dark. There are devils in the dark. Okay, well, we might think that there are no devils in the dark, but I tell you what, in 300 AD in the Sundarbans, if you went out and got eaten by a tiger and never came back, and nobody knew what happened to you, and you just disappeared, right? The superstition could be that, hey, there's demons out there and don't go out. But that's not to say that anybody didn't actually know that, well, it's probably not demons, it's probably wild animals, but we'll tell the kids that. And then that grows and now becomes this idea that we in culture think, 300 years ago, they were very superstitious, right? But no, a lot of the things they did, I think they did out of necessity.
Yeah,
I think one example that I think of, 200-300 years ago is left-handed people. Left-handed people were said to have, been of the devil or something like that. I'm paraphrasing, but something like that, right? It was said to have been not not healthy, not good, more evil and stuff like that, right?
Right. And I mean,
still not a lot. Sorry. Still, there's some countries today that when they realize that their child is starting to develop as a left-handed person, they'll switch them. They'll switch them, and they'll put the crayon and the pencil in the right hand, and they will continue to do so. And they'll tell their teachers to make sure that they do that with their this, that, and the other thing. So because I think that's a form of superstition, is it not?
I don't know. Lesson says 300 years ago, the general population was far less educated and needed to explain the world and events without substantial science. Absolutely, Leslie. And you know what? Just to reiterate, though, there are things that they did which we would consider or would possibly define as superstitious, which was actually only pragmatic, as you said earlier, which was only pragmatic and reasonable for the time. They might not have defined it properly, right? But I mean, I don't know. Maybe there was a superstition, don't eat beef after the third day. Well, maybe that's because the beef was damn well bad by then because they didn't have refrigeration. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I think a lot of things that they did, not that I can think of examples right off the bat, but the fact of the matter is a lot of it was done out of pragmatic reasons, right? I mean, everything from the full moon, whatever the case may be. Well, that's when you travel, or that's when you cross the desert, or blah, blah, blah. A lot of people consider that superstition. It's not. It's pragmatic, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Marvin says, I disappeared when I was about 18. Sure was fun to hear the rumors when I returned.
Oh my God. Hey, I have a friend. I should get her to listen to this. My friend Susie, her and I took off from Saskatchewan, never told a soul, never even thought about it. And we were gone for 4 days, right? 4 or 5 days, actually. Yep. Oh my God. When I got back, it was crazy. I mean, we didn't have cell phones, right? So
did you lose any time, or did you lose only 20 minutes?
No, we lost all the time. Thank goodness.
Oh, okay. Just checking.
Just checking. Yeah. Well, we went for a nice long road trip. And I tell you what, when I got back, my brother was furious. My mom was crying. They had called all the hospitals. They'd called the cops. They'd called all kinds of things. They'd reported us missing, blah, blah, blah. Yeah. It was like, that's crazy.
We just went away for a bit.
We just went away for a bit.
That's a big deal.
That's right.
Yeah. Jeremy says, maggots come from beef. This is a common knowledge for eons. If you leave it long enough, it will sprout maggots. Obviously, with education, we can understand that there are things beyond their capacity to explain, but save their lives.
There we go. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So where did the maggots come from then, Jeremy? Everybody.
And we're all quiet.
Quiet. Completely rolling on you, buddy.
Yeah. So Jeremy, if you take a steak and you leave it out, where do the maggots come from, dude? Leslie Ann says, hey, hell yeah, Paul, you lefties are generally quite creative. Several creative peeps in a small community can be a severe detriment to the town back at that time. Leslie Ann, you got that 100% correct.
That is true. That's
what I'm saying, Leslie Ann. What are you trying to say?
What a great theory that is, Leslie Ann. That's awesome. Yeah, because that would create absolute freaking mayhem in a community.
Chaos.
Yeah.
Yeah, what a great observation, Leslie Ann. That's awesome.
Yeah, Leslie Ann's on it tonight.
I never thought of that. That's awesome.
Leslie Ann, are you running around a chair right now, back behind? Coming up with all these great statements.
Yeah, no, she's not even here.
Oh,
we're apart.
Oh wow,
we had a pot. Yes, rather yes.
We had a pot.
Yeah, about 8 hours apart.
Oh. Leslie Ann must be.
I like the way we define distance in hours.
The
three of you back in the 1700s in the same community. Yeah. Right. So Jeremy says flies. Only uncovered steak sprouts maggot. This was one of the more notable observations that sparked the modern scientific method. Okay. Oh dear, Leslie Ann says.
Well, thanks for that information. I'll make sure to keep my steak covered.
There we go.
Yeah.
Veggie burgers for me.
So what happens, Jeremy? The flies become maggots? Is that the deal, or what's the deal? Let's keep this conversation going back, because I mean, who doesn't want to talk about maggots and flies?
Yeah.
Very superstitious. Saturday.
So I didn't even get a chance to say that. I looked away from the screen for like 2.5 seconds,
2
Cliff.
seconds.
Wow. So, then I'm going to ask you this, Paul, in regards to superstition. So, when your hair stands up like that, is that something that's a superstition for you? Is that an anchor?
Well, that depends. How are we doing on this podcast? That depends. If it's an anchor, if I'm doing all right on this podcast, it's an anchor, baby. It's an anchor.
I like see Nicole, you made my day right there. She says, "Yay, I was waiting for Saturday."
And I missed it, Nicole. It wasn't teamed up there.
So Jeremy says maggots are the larval stage of flies. Well, flies lay eggs, they hatch maggots become flies, the circle of life. Cool.
So this is a great conversation.
I know.
Frog eats the fly and cow.
So Polly,
I can't even remember that song.
So Polly, what do you call a fly that doesn't fly?
I don't know.
A walk.
Where's the rim shot of that one?
I gotta be honest with you. I am not smart enough to be on this podcast. I'm just not.
We got to do that one time for that day that's coming up that I missed. You ready?
Right? Saturday.
Williams put it in the same time we said that.
I tried to time it, Bill, but it's not working.
It's tough to time it, isn't it? Yeah.
If you start, I'll time it, even though there's a delay.
Jeremy, what's brown and sticky? A stick.
Stick.
Okay,
hey,
here
Polly,
we go.
One more. What do you call a boomerang that doesn't come back?
A stick.
A stick. Okay, we're done with the jokes now. Thank you. Thank you very much. Come again. I'm here all evening.
We're here all for the next 15 minutes.
Oh, man. Well, that's good. We got an education on flies, maggots, neurolinguistic programming, superstition, and sticks.
Sticks. Yeah.
Very superstitious. Oh, man. Cool.
Thanks for joining us, Jeremy. You always throw in some good ones.
So
what
else is in your craws there today, gentlemen?
In the craw. Well, I don't know. What about you, Bill? Are you superstitious?
Craw.
No, I don't think I am at all, because I have walked under many a ladder. I've had many a black cat cross my path. I don't throw salt over my left shoulder. If I'm going to use salt, it goes on my food. So yeah, I don't think I've got really any. Friday the 13th doesn't bother me. Nope. Full moons, especially out in the acreage, light up my backyard at night, so it looks really cool.
That's right.
Yeah. So.
And Lesanne says to add to the list of things we talked about and a recommendation to watch a MASH episode. Yep.
Yes. Yeah. No, I actually, it was interesting. Cheryl brought me home a magazine today, all on MASH.
Oh, no kidding.
It's a Life magazine, completely on this MASH series. Talks a bit about the movie and the series. I haven't had a chance to go through it all yet, but I did see one small little clip in there that was with a picture. It was the interview episode, I believe. So it was when a CBS correspondent goes out to Korea.
Great episode.
It is interviewing each of the characters and asking them about their time being in a MASH unit and also in Korea. The interesting thing I found out, and maybe you knew this, Cliff, and I didn't quite realize this, was that whole show, the questions. So the gentleman that was a CBS correspondent was actually a former CBS correspondent.
Yeah, he was an actual reporter.
Yeah, and he wrote out all the questions, and the actors improv'd all their answers.
All the answers. I know. Wasn't that fascinating?
Yeah. So that they improv'd it all.
I know, and everybody from Gary Berghoff,
yes.
What's the priest's name?
Father Mulcahy.
Yeah, I can't think of his real name.
In real is
I just lost it. Christopher. Yeah, Christopher something. Anyway, the answers were so wonderful, like they were so great, and I thought that was so amazing that they would do that and let the actors sort of be in character and answer those questions. I thought it was a fascinating episode.
Yeah.
William Christopher. Thanks, Lesanne. His name is William Christopher.
Correct me if I'm wrong, guys, but didn't Loretta Swit just pass?
No, she's still alive. The actress who played Loretta Swit in the movie passed, but not in the TV series.
Okay, the actress that Polly,
in the movie. Okay, so in the movie.
She
Okay,
played
I
Hot
thought
Lips.
I thought it was Loretta Swit that passed.
No.
No.
Loretta Swit played Hot Lips in the series.
Right.
And I believe she's still alive. But the woman that played in the movie, Hot Lips in the movie, she's the one that died.
Okay, she's the one that passed.
Yeah.
Okay. What's her name? Does anybody know what her name is?
I just lost it. I had to tip my tongue and I lost it.
Yeah, I had seen that already. The only character that came over from the movie into the series was Gary Berghoff. He was the only one that was.
Yeah, he was the only character. Yeah.
Okay.
So
yeah.
Anyway, there's your mash lesson. And apparently, you can hike to the outdoor set in California where they had the outdoor set, which obviously was Korea and MASH.
Right.
That set, the set is mainly all gone. Other than they put a tent up. So if you're hiking and it's raining or whatever, you can go in this tent, and the tent is on the spot, I guess, where the mess hall was in the actual.
That was a great set, eh? And it was so funny because MASH was the first one that had the moving cameras on a sitcom.
Yeah.
Right? Like moving, because before it was always the cameras would be static and everybody would move around on the stage and whatnot. But MASH was the only one that had the moving cameras to be able to sit from the top and then see the helicopters come in and see all the motion and everything. So, Podlie, are you a MASH fan? Have you watched MASH?
No. Before my time. So I remember.
Well, it was before my time too, but.
Yeah,
I watched it all in
I
reruns.
don't remember my dad ever sitting down to watch a MASH episode. I might have seen one or two full episodes back to back. So
you're missing you're missing out on a pretty amazing part of culture, Podlie.
100%. I mean,
it's worth watching. Yeah. Some of the episodes are a clinic in acting. I mean, I tell you, Loretta Swit, when she was given an opportunity to act, I think you had to get to about season maybe 3 or season 4, season 3, I think. She was really given an opportunity to really stretch her acting muscles. Man, stunning, like she really put on, and that's not to even mention Gary Berghoff, not to mention my favorite character in all of MASH. Who can guess that? Who can guess my favorite character in MASH? It happens. Leslie and I happen to be both of the same mind. Anybody online? Anybody?
Your favorite character?
Who's your favorite character on MASH?
Favorite character and Cliff. It's not the guy that wore a dress, right?
Say that one more time.
You're thinking Klinger, Corporal Klinger, who wore the dresses. I probably again now I've lost the character name. McLean.
McLean Stevenson. The first Colonel.
The first Colonel.
Yeah.
Colonel Potter.
No, the other one.
Yeah.
Did I actually?
What's his name? Holy, why am I? Look at this. Leslie and I thought we were alone, dude. So Podlie said Klinger, Nicole said Klinger, Marvin said Klinger. And I don't know if you guys are saying that's your favorite character or if you think that's my favorite character, because you're 1000% correct. Klinger is my favorite character of that whole show.
Yeah.
And he's been local doing Stage West plays and stuff probably 3 or 4 times.
Way more than that.
And I would think probably way more than that, maybe half a dozen times.
Oh yeah. Henry. What was the guy's name? Henry
Blake.
Henry Blake. That's it. Henry Blake.
Henry Blake.
McLean Stevenson. What an actor, man. What an actor. Unbelievable. He actually auditioned for the movie, for the role of Hawkeye, and he didn't get it and was offered the part of Colonel Blake, and of course he took it. Wow, what an actor.
Yeah. It's too bad that he left. He left what, 3rd season, I think, was his
third season.
And then he moved on and they killed his character off. But Colonel Potter was good though as well.
Morgan. Fantastic. Harry Morgan was great.
Harry Morgan was great. So he did a good fill-in for sure. But
and Nicole says that's what I figured. Klinger was your favorite character, Cliff. I don't know how you got that, Nicole, but that's awesome because he is.
Yeah. Yeah. And Hawkeye, Ellen Ola, I thought was great as well. Again, another little, interesting tidbit that he said in this magazine, that quick glance that I saw was, of course, saying that he was able to work in the operating room because there was no real blood. And, they were basically stitching up pieces of foam. And the other thing he said, when he was doing surgery, quite often his script was actually on the table so he could read his dialogue.
He could read the dialogue. Is that right? I didn't know that. That's cool. Yeah. And Nicole says she loved Radar. Absolutely.
Radar was great.
Yeah, he's a great character, man. And Marvin says he really teared up when his plane went down. Yeah, when Henry Blake's plane went down. So we wrecked it for Podlie then.
I'm shattered.
Spoiler alert.
Spoiler alert. Yeah.
I'm shattered.
You're Shatner? What?
I'm
William Shatner?
Jeremy.
Well, guys, sorry you lost me because I haven't seen a MASH episode.
Okay, well, get freaking on it, dude.
Yeah, you got to do that.
Are they still rerunning MASH?
All the time.
Where? What?
MASH has been in syndication since 81 or something. 82.
So where would I find MASH? Because I don't see them on my regular channels.
Yeah, that's a good question.
Bill's house.
Bill's house. Bill's house.
I have the whole season package in the big green MASH box it came.
Yeah.
How many seasons?
11
seasons. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then they did a big 2-hour very final episode, which was the most watched episode ever
in the history of television. Yeah. And what an episode it was. My God. Leslie Ann says each actor was brilliant. Gary Berghoff was always in character. Gary Berghoff never, ever broke character. Never, not once, ever. While he was listening, while he was talking, while he was in the background, while he was in the foreground. Didn't matter where he was. If he was anywhere near the camera, he was always in character. The guy was amazing.
So who did Gary Berghoff play?
Radar.
Oh, he played Radar.
Radar.
Yeah. And the funny thing, Gary Berghoff again said that when he played Radar in the movie, he was much more abrasive,
type
of a character. And he said it wasn't until about 3 or 4 or maybe whatever how many episodes 5 it was
episodes,
in season 1 of the MASH. Yeah, when he figured out he needed to take his character a different way to add more comedic effect to it and be more like the Radar that he became, which was amazing. And it was bad when he left the show.
Oh, it was terrible.
And he just decided it was time for him to move on.
Yeah. And the thing is with him, he got younger, right? In the first, by the time the first year went, he became a boy where he wasn't that at the beginning, technically.
Yeah.
So, and then he had to really change his role and how he acted and everything else. I mean, what a stellar actor, man. The guy could put on a clinic in acting, right? Everything from the comedic to the serious.
And you also know he was born, was it right hand or left hand, is missing a couple of fingers. I think it was
it was always hid.
He always kept his hand hidden on the show. Whenever he was carrying something in that hand, he always kept it hidden so you wouldn't see that.
Yeah, because that wouldn't be acceptable, right? But now it would be. But
yeah.
So did you guys obviously, did you grow up with MASH or did you find it after it had started in season 3 or season 5?
I found it way after. I think I watched maybe one or two episodes back in the mid 80s, but I didn't watch a lot of TV back then anyway. I think I maybe watched 1 or 2 episodes, but then I didn't really I don't think I discovered it till the 90s. Hey, Leslie Ann, probably 90s, late 90s.
I watched it when I was definitely younger, when it came out. When I was probably would have been junior high, late junior high. So I would watch it back then, and it's always been one of my favorite episodes.
The thing with MASH though, Podlie, is so after the second season, okay, I'll tell you something. I don't know if they talk about this in the magazine, but what happened was they made war look so good and so funny and so much fun and hilarious and blah 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 that recruitment went up. And that was not what any of the producers or actors wanted. They didn't want recruitment. This was not an advertisement for recruitment. But then they realized that that's because they're not showing the seriousness of war. They're just showing the fun of it.
Well, it's funny.
So that's when they started showing the more serious parts of war in the second episode, in the second season. And that's when MASH just took right off.
It's funny that you say that, Cliff, because Bill just said, I found it in junior high.
Right.
I'm like, what the hell's a 14-year-old kid watching a show on the Vietnam War? Like,
it's funny as hell.
I found that very interesting.
I tell you what, it's a comedy. And then in season 2, they decided that they didn't want it to be an advertisement for recruitment. So then they started putting a lot of the seriousness in. I mean, one episode called "I Never Heard the Bullet" is amazing. Like it's stunning. It's not like it's a stunning episode, right? And I think that was in the second episode. And I tell you what, Podlie, go watch one episode from the very first season called Tuttle. And if you don't laugh, I'll change my name to Hare Krishna.
Yeah. No. And again, well,
You
Alan
thought
Alda,
that's what your name was to begin with.
Alan Alda also did a lot in the latter seasons, especially in the last season, did a lot of the writing and directing. He was one of the he did a lot of the directing of the final episode as well.
Yeah, actually, a lot of the writing and directing he did, right? And there were a couple of episodes directed by Morgan Freeman. There was a couple of episodes directed by Mike Farrell. It's
sorry,
a fascinating.
Did you just say Morgan Freeman?
No, sorry, Harry Morgan.
Harry Morgan.
Harry Morgan.
Say.
Harry Morgan.
The other thing too, as we're just about getting out of time here, but that I found really neat with that cast, and Alan Alda has talked about it, as all the cast members had, is the fact that you get a lot of shows, that are, your 30-minute sitcom, whatever the case might be, and actors talk about when a scene is over and they have to set for the next one, they all head off to their trailers and do their thing and read whatever, then they all come back to the set. And in MASH, it was never that way. The cast never left the set. When it was getting set for a new scene, they would be fooling around and joking with each other and talking about things at each other, or he said they would set a circle of chairs up and all just sit around and chat while they waited for the next he said they were one huge family. They never did anybody walk away and go to a trailer between scenes,
cuts and whatnot.
They stayed together all the time.
Isn't that cool, eh? Tina Adams, hi Tina Adams. She says she watched it nightly in elementary. Yeah, there you go. It's a funny show, you guys. And I tell you what, some of the episodes are hilarious. Some of the episodes are hilarious and sad, hilarious and serious, but all of them have hilarity in them. That's the fact of the matter. So I don't know a single episode of MASH where you won't laugh. And Klinger's character, as he progresses through who he is absolutely stellar. Jamie Farr, I don't know why he didn't earn an Emmy for every bloody season and every bloody episode. The man was absolute, in my mind anyway. He was such a great actor, just so good in MASH.
And just before we wrap it up, I think I can't find the comment here. I think Jeremy had said, "Oh, there it is." The finale absolutely broke me. The finale of the series was probably one of the most emotional,
stunning
finales you'll ever watch. Yeah.
Just a stunning show that last and I mean so many of them, right? I mean David Ogden Pierce, when he came in as Emerson Winchester, I mean, just blow you away. The guy was just incredible, like an incredible actor, just absolutely just blow your mind, the skill and talent that these people had.
For sure. Well, on that note, Cliff, we got to wrap it up.
Yeah, wow. Hey, this wasn't supposed to be an episode about MASH, but it got there. What can you do? A lot of people are passionate about these things because, it's fantastic and it's a piece of our culture. So listen, you guys, it's been a fun episode. It's been good laughing and joking and talking about superstitions with you guys. I would like you all to make it very superstitious for you to be here on Monday and Must Listen Monday. I want you to make it very superstitious so that if you're not here, you're definitely going to have not a good time that week. And you know what I mean? Of course, I mean that.
Anchor.
That's right.
Yeah.
So anyway, come back and see us. We love to have you as a part of this and engaging with us. And we really appreciate, I speak for all three of us as I tell you that every week, we really appreciate you being here. And if you have not shared this podcast in a while, please do that. Bring a friend next time. And if you're not listening live and you happen to be listening later, Bill,
anywhere you get your podcast, Spotify, iHeartRadio, any of those places. And of course, Friday nights, 10 p.m., soundsugarradio.com. You can tune into this episode and listen to the audio there as well.
And don't forget, everybody, go get mashed, will you?
MASH. There we go. And one very, very quick thing, you guys. Ravenwood Festival coming up very, very quickly. Huge. It's coming up June 25th, right, Bill? Ravenwood 25th. Festival. We have an excellent lineup of talent. Not to even mention the 3 Podlie podcasts are your lovable, ever-loving hosts. Okay, so please go buy some tickets. We'd love to see you guys there and interact with you on that level as well. It would be bloody awesome. All right,
tickets on the Ravenwood website, guys.
Yeah,
Ravenwoodfestival.com.
Only $55 plus ticket fees, so that's a real reasonable price for the day. And we only have a limited amount, so if you want to buy, you should be buying them soon. All right, everybody. It has been fun. We will see you all again next Monday with an even number episode, 114.
Cheryl will like that.
She will. See you all then.